Have you ever been in a community where you experienced rejection, where a group of people that you wanted to be a part of rejected you, or those that you were previously a part of then turned around and separated you, ostracized you, made you feel outcasted from their midst? Or you wanted an opportunity, you sought out a promotion or something, and you experienced rejection? Let's not even lie, rejection hurts. Like the feeling that you don't belong somewhere that you desire to belong, or that you are not qualified or good enough to be in a particular environment that you put yourself out to experience. Fear of rejection is one of those things that really, really affects people and make people draw back from reaching out to others, from making those connections, from putting themselves out there, because sometimes you are afraid that, what if I don't get the opportunity? What if I apply and they reject me? What if I reach out to this person that I want to be their friend, I want them to be my mentor, I want them to be such and such to me, and they reject me? What if I ask this girl out and she rejects me? It's a stinging feeling when someone, it's as though certain thoughts or feelings towards somebody or towards a particular situation, and that thing doesn't give you the same feeling back, and if you rejected. So today, in today's video, we're going to just explore rejection and how to overcome rejection and how to even turn rejection around. Sometimes as well, when we experience things that look like rejection, they may not necessarily be rejection. They could actually be a redirection from God to the right path that you actually need to go. So how do you actually experience things without them defining you and limiting you for the rest of your life? You will say, because you attempted to get a particular job or you attempted something before and you didn't get it, do you then stop and never go back to actually trying again? This video is going to challenge you. So number one, let's get right into it. Rejection. It hurts. It stings. It undermines your value. It speaks to you and tells you that you are not good enough, that you are a failure, or that you are, it affects your confidence. It reduces your sense of worth and sense of self and value when you are supposed to be, when you feel like you're supposed to be accepted in an environment and you're not accepted. So what can you do when you experience this? Number one is that you have to disassociate your worth from those external events. What does that mean? It means that you are associating how good and how worthy you are to those events that are going on in your life. So if a group of people that are ignoring you have something and they are not acknowledging it, or you are reaching out to them, and they are that Mean Girl movie where there's a group of people and they just like sideline you and they don't let you join them, or people just automatically make decisions about you and they form opinions about you that are not correct, and you feel rejected by those things. Sometimes those things make you begin to question your worth. But what I want to actually challenge you to think about today is that, are you associating your worth to people's approval? Because if you think about it, if you're associating your worth to other people's approval, that will mean that if you are rising at their approval, that means you would also die at their rejection. Jesus Christ understood this lesson, and he did not allow anybody's disapproval of him or anybody's rejection of him to determine his worth. In fact, their rejection was actually an indication it was in line with what God needed him to do. Sometimes you are in line with what God needs you to do, and it feels like you're experiencing rejection. So I think one of the things you have to just be clear on is that your worth is in God. And so long as you are aligned with who God says you are and what God says about you, those external rejections that are coming do not define you. You are defined by the fact that you are loved by God. God chose you and prefers you. The preference of God is over your life. So long as you remain in love, you remain true to yourself, you remain humble, you remain clear as to the fact that you belong to God, that you are valuable to him, that should be what anchors you and not what other people think, because people are very fickle. One minute they are saying, oh my gosh, I love her, she's the best thing since sliced bread, and the next minute they can turn around and be saying otherwise. So, and you have to just as well have grace for people, because sometimes people are in a season of life that they don't have the capacity to be able to take something that you're trying to give them on board, or an opportunity that you try to apply for, and it seems as if it is a rejection you are getting. It could be a redirection that God is saying, you know what, this is not where I want you to go. How about you turn around? Or it could be that, you must persist until you get what you actually need to get from there. So you have to learn to be able to Draw your worth from who God says you are, not from what the external circumstances around you are saying. To separate yourself from that event, separate yourself from that rejection. That thing was a rejection, but that's not on me. They might have rejected me in this particular capacity, but that's their loss. I am a winner. I know who I am. I know my worth. I know what God says about me. I know my value. Okay? So reckon your worth in God outside of circumstances that are fickle and are changeable. Secondly, the second thing I want you to think about is that why did you give your power to others? And what kind of environment are you also putting yourself in? So if you think about the fact that sometimes we are rejected, not necessarily because we are bad, but because we are giving something to people that don't know your worth. You are giving yourself in an environment that they don't even know what you carry. It's like trying to give somebody a very ice cold drink when it is cold and it is freezing. They may not necessarily want that. They might want a hot drink. So in the same manner, you have to also think about yourself in line with who needs you and where you fit into, rather than trying to force yourself into a mold and force yourself into an environment that is not actually conducive for what you carry. Because there were some people that were rejecting Jesus Christ, and they didn't want him, and they were against his mission. But there were other people that were literally thirsty and desperate for him. The Pharisees did not see his worth, but the woman at the well, the moment she realized this could be the Messiah, she pressed into him. The same Jesus Christ that some people rejected is the same Jesus Christ that some people are celebrating. So sometimes as well, it's also context, to know the context that you fit into and not mold yourself into an environment where you are constantly rejected. Remove yourself from such environments that might be toxic. Places could be even, it could be even if you want to actually get a job or something, and you don't yet have the qualification for it. Go and do the qualifications that you need to obtain to be able to get that particular position. But if it is people, if it is communities, sometimes they are not necessarily what the people that need you. So pray that God will direct it to your right audience, direct it to the right people that see your value, that see your worth, and celebrate you for who you are. Where you are not wrong, where who you are is not wrong. You don't have to bend to another to become a different person when you're around them. That's the best place to be. You can be yourself. You can be a fish in the water and swim. You know the analogy that I always give of how if you measure a fish by its ability to be able to climb a tree, that's just wrong. So sometimes we are being looked at as though we are wrong because we're in the wrong context. So also you to examine, what context am I putting myself in? Is this context constantly undermining me? And are my gifts necessary for where I am? Or is my personality, who I am, my values, is it constantly clashing with this environment? So set yourself in a context and in an environment that truly sees the value that you bring to the table, and not necessarily think that what you bring that is good and great in itself, is wrong in that environment. So pivot and shift into somewhere else. Don't let fear hold you back. Don't let fear hold you back. Lastly, don't let fear hold you back, because after experiencing rejection, you can begin to become afraid of being rejected. How can you not let fear hold you back? Is that you actually return that thing back to God. Like when you experience something and it hurts your emotions, that you choose to worship, you journal with God, you speak to God about it, you talk to him about how that thing made you feel. And after you've talked to God about it, you're vulnerable with him, you tell him exactly how that thing made you feel, and you release it back to God. You receive the boldness. The Bible says that cast not away your confidence, for he has a great recompense of reward. Like your confidence in who God has called you to be should not be limited or inhibited because of the rejections you have faced in the past. So this is actually where faith comes in. You have to dig into your faith and know who you are and whose you are and who sends you. And you have to draw from that well and go in the power of the Holy Spirit. You have to go in the place from the place of faith, knowing that God is the one that has sent me. God is the one who has called me. God is the one who has chosen me. He's the one who has anointed me. So don't let rejection be a letter that permanently marks you from never ever being able to achieve something. It is up to you what you do with that experience. Everybody will has experienced it at one level or the other. So it is up to you to actually pick yourself back up and to give that pain to God and to continue and press on resiliently in the face of odds or things that seem not to have gone the way you would have liked, and to push in that direction and to go for what God has actually set on your heart. Finally, when one door closes, another door opens. See, life is not complicated. Like, this is not the end. Know that whatever it is not the end. Okay, that person left, fine, you get another person is coming. That opportunity left, there's another opportunity does not just come but once. Opportunity is as far as your eyes can see, as far as your mind can comprehend what God has in store for you. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't build a house. Don't build an institution around a singular experience and let it define you for the rest of your life. You are able to look ahead, look forward, and see what God is set to do, because you have more days ahead of you. More opportunities will come. Heal, forgive whoever you need to forgive, and begin to look ahead, knowing that God is bringing everything that you need that aligns with you, your personality, your vision, your destiny, and is able to make you to go forward. Sometimes the people that rejected you are actually a gift to propel you to where you want to be. I'm reminded of the story of Joyce Meyer when she started her ministry, and all the people that were her friends, so to speak, began to reject her. They didn't want her to preach. They were happy with her so long as she did not fulfill her purpose, and she was literally like ostracized her from that community where she was, because of the calling that she decided to step into, that God has called her to. So imagine if she had stayed there because she didn't want to, because she wanted to be accepted. If she remained not fulfilling her purpose to be able to make other people happy and able to get other people to accept her, here she is. She chose that even though it hurt, even though it was painful, she chose to continue in the face of what God has for her. And then she found her own community of people that loved her, are waiting for her message, are cheering her on, have benefited. Imagine the amount of lives that she has blessed. So just know that the rejection is not the end. There's a glorious future ahead of you. Walk confidently in this. It's a reality. You have to know that there are better days ahead of you, better things that God has in store for you, and the best is not behind you. I hope that this video has blessed you. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below, what are some of your strategies that you have used to overcome rejection before, and how have you dealt with it? I'll be happy to read from you. Please like this video, share it, and until next time I see you, stay blessed. Bye.